By day, I grow meat in the laboratory. I'm what they call a cellular agriculturalist, and that means I make animal products from cell cultures rather than directly from animals.
If you're a vegetarian, can you eat your meat?
Depends why you're vegetarian. So if you're vegetarian because you don't like any slaughter of animals, at the moment you still have to use an animal derivative of a dead animal to make it, but you won't in the product. But if you do it from an environmental point of view, that you don't like industrial farming, maybe you can. It totally depends on why you're vegetarian, really.
How like meat is what you can produce? What are you producing? Are you producing a steak, a sausage, a piece of bacon, whole lot?
So my research is on more of the steak side of it, because whole cuts of meat are what drive the food industry, drive the meat industry, not burgers and things. But at the moment we can produce muscle-like fibres. So meat is incredibly complex in the most wonderful way. It's delicious, it has an amazing function within the animal, but at the moment we just use skeletal muscle cells so you take a biopsy from a cow, you separate out the stem cells that lie, it's called quiescent, in between two parts of the muscle fibre. They don't really do anything, but then when you remove them you can make them multiply and then change into muscle fibres. But muscle is, so meat is fat, connective tissue, capillaries. It's very, very complex, and it's a co-culture, like everything in nature. So at the moment we just take one part of it and cultivate that, which can give a sensory experience that mimics that of eating meat. But for it to become a product that people are going to want to eat, I think more has to happen, and you have to have more cell types and different conditions.
Is it on sale anywhere?
No.
Okay.
That the one burger, and there was a meatball that was made in the US, but the cultured meat burger that Mark Post and his team made in 2013 was funded by Google, and it was a proof of concept that we can do this. You know, I could do it now. It cost me about £300,000, but I could grow.
That's the price.
But on the research stage, I could grow a load of muscle fibres and make a burger out of it.
Do you see it coming good in the next 5-10 years?
The projection for burgers, I think, was 10 years or 5 years.
And are you being offered lots of money by venture capitalists wanting to really go into the future with you on this?
I've been contacted by a lot of companies because there are no scientists working in it. Well, very, very few. So a lot of them want to start up companies with the aspirations of making a lot of money, and they have no one to do the work. But for me, fundamental research is so important. There are companies popping up without the proper fundamental building blocks to make these products. And New Harvest, who I'm funded by from the States, they're all for fundamental research, because we need to get this right before a product comes to the shelves. And if you're being funded by industry or venture capitalists or whatever, they're going to have an agenda. They need to make money from this, and you can't promise that you're going to have a product when you don't have one now.
The rewards are potentially staggering if you think of things like the Chinese market and the increase in the quantity of meat they're eating as a whole. It's gigantic.